to the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's everybody's favorite sad dads, Jim and Foo.
It's, yeah, but you know.
Why is it doing this?
Well, that's the thing. It was doing weird network shit and has been doing weird network shit from day one, right? How long have we had? How long have we had that in the studio garage?
Can we let's blame and like the YouTube upload.
Let's blame the QA guy
on Data's. Imagine that all that went away. Then it translated over to the networking.
Yeah,
fucking YouTube uploads. Weird.
Well, it's just one of these things where it was set up for DHCP, and it's connected directly to my computer with Ethernet. My computer is on your network over Wi-Fi. So my computer will get a DHCP address from your network, but the KiPRO doesn't have any opportunity to get a network address unless somehow it's magically doing it through the computer. Right?
Right.
Which I don't think that's going to happen. Also, it had an IP number that never changed stored in its DHCP setup that I have been using to just connect to it. And then suddenly the last 2 weeks it just decided, I'm not doing that.
If only we had someone with intricate knowledge
of networking
of that device and its manufacturer.
Oh, I don't know anything about it.
I abstain.
I mean, is it that guy? I mean, that guy was obviously caching something, because if it couldn't get a DHCP address, it should read zeros, right?
Listen,
for its IP number.
And Apple is doing.
They're doing something
stuff behind the scenes. It's like
sometimes.
Listen, I just don't have the cycles to poke at that bear right now. Sometimes it's just magically working, and I'm just going to say, good job, Tim Apple.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is it just worked, right?
Right.
I had the same IP number in my browser. It just worked.
Right.
So as long as I had the cable attached, it would connect to it. And then just in the last 2 weeks, I decided that's not happening.
Yeah.
So I did the right thing, which was to set it up for static and then set my machine up for static.
I'm just gonna hard set you.
That's right.
You dirty fuck.
I mean, and now it's working.
Right. Until next week.
It should just work. We'll see.
I mean, we should, right?
Yeah. We'll see. I'm not a network engineer, man.
Yeah, I left those days long past.
Yeah, you're a Unix guy.
Right.
You're not a network guy, right?
Not
I mean, you know how all the stuff works, but you just don't. More or less.
Yes. But I don't put that hat on just so I don't get myself in trouble.
I know enough just to know enough, and I don't have to really dive into it much. We have engineers for that. I don't dive into the networking aspect very much. Like, I test it.
Send a ticket in and be like, hey, how often will this just decide to not work? Is there a timer?
Well, why would it store an IP number that it obviously can't get? It's not getting an IP number from anywhere.
In fact, I'm just like realizing I was going to put on my I voted sticker, but I forgot.
I voted too.
Yeah. Good.
You know what was weird? Let's talk about Chandler for a sec.
Oh, here we go.
Because he's funny in the sense that I think whatever the last election was that we had.
Okay.
Presidential
or just the last time people voted?
I don't know. I don't remember the last election was we had that was like you got a ballot and you had to turn it in or whatever. I don't remember what election that was. It felt like it was recent, like we just had one like a year or two ago.
We might have had the mids last year.
That might have been it, the midterms or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's going to listen to this. So he was like, we were asking him, we got to go take our ballots in because we don't we get them in the mail, but we wait until until vote day, and we put them in the envelope and then drop them off at a ballot collectible.
That's what we did. Mahaney was a ballot station 24/7, so yes. Okay. Same.
That's what we do instead of being smart and just filling it out and like sending it in the mail, right?
Right.
So that time we were like, oh, we got to take our ballots to the collection place,
right?
Which closest to us would have been Nugget.
Oh, okay.
They have one at Nugget. So we're like, oh, did you vote or did you take? Oh yeah. And so the previous election to that, so 2 elections ago, we had all driven up to Rockland.
I think, yes.
Yeah, and
I remember.
It was like the Placer County election office or whatever.
Yeah.
And they got a big bin out front so you can just drop. And we all dropped them in there. Well, the reason why we didn't go there this time, well, first of all, it was further. But we found out that it was closed because they were remodeling the building or something.
Okay.
So it was closed. So we took our stuff to Nugget. And so we're like, oh, Chandler, did you vote? Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah. Oh, where did you drop it off? Oh, I took it to that place in Rockland that we went to the time before. And we're like, no, you didn't, you fuck. Because that thing is closed. It's not even open. It's not even on the sheet because it's not open. So he was spoofing the fact that he was voting. And I'm like, hey, motherfucker, you don't vote. You have no right to complain about anything. So just shut your pie hole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this time he was all over us.
Oh, to vote?
He FaceTimed my wife at one point and he's got his ballot. Did you vote yet? You know, kind of a thing. And we're like, no, we got to go drop it off. So I just thought that was funny because he got caught last time.
Oh.
But he was very proactive this time.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. But we're like, busted, bro.
You got to participate.
Yeah.
You know, you can't make change without.
Yeah. Well, you can't complain about stuff and then not vote to make the change for the stuff you want to complain about. So
I would, yeah.
Don't do it. And then don't lie to our faces.
You did not.
No, you didn't.
Filthy liar.
Yeah.
It was a pretty short ballot.
Yeah, what were there, like 5 things or something?
A couple districts, 2 Senate races, and then the one proposition for mental health stuff.
Yeah.
It was pretty short and sweet. Didn't take much.
Yeah.
Research things. I was actually, I'll be honest. I was, so the one booklet we got, this is really mostly for I want to say there were 2 districts on my, or it had to have been yours. We're not that far apart. 2 districts that had people, and
some of the names were the same.
No, I think that was the Senate race.
Yeah, okay.
Right. The Senate had
there was like a short term and a long term.
Yes.
Yeah.
The local state assembly for our actual state had 2 districts I think that had positions open, and not all of the candidates were in the booklet. Like, I get it. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if they're having to pay. But if you're,
I think it's a matter of whether or not they fill out a thing and send it in.
And send it in.
Yeah.
I was frustrated. Like, I collect all the materials, and most of the stuff that I get in the mail, I just shit can it. Like, it's trash to me. Usually,
until you need to know.
Right. Well, most of it's all biased anyway.
Right.
So it's like, I would rather people put a concerted effort into a one location or a collection of like all of their positions instead of sending me a postcard size thing that's like such an abbreviated thing that I'm going to have to go looking for details and background stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So all you did was generate something that is toil. It's a waste of time for me. And
if it's coming to your mailbox and it's got a bias on it,
right? It's like
if you're not researching it on your own,
right? You just generated trash for me, and by and large, unless it was made out of recycled plastic bottles, you're creating
Or a Walmart vest.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be funny if that is that a thing?
Well, the vests always say like it took 6 bottles to make this vest or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
It's like silk screen on the back. And that always cracks me up.
That's pretty funny.
I'm like, you're wearing my bottle.
So I'm flipping through the pamphlet like, okay, the Republicans, Democrats, Independents, and I'm looking in the pamphlet, and where's this person?
Yeah.
Like, what's their stances, views, blah, blah, blah. This person's not in the booklet.
You don't need to know.
Get the other booklet. Like, it's not in here.
You don't need to know.
And it took me, right. I mean,
I feel like if you're going to go ahead and run, this is the data that you should have out there, especially in the
thing that's
widely
going to get mailed to every single voter, registered voter in California, is going to get this thing.
Yeah.
If you are running for an office and you don't put out the effort to put at least your fucking name, and your party affiliation in the thing, if you want to just put a website URL because you can't truncate your entire political stance in a half a page blurb, put the fucking URL.
Right.
I was so
irritated,
triggered, pissed. What? Pick a
all of the above.
A case of red ass.
Get my belt.
Yeah. God damn it, dude. Like, I want to I'm trying to pass these things on to the kids. Like, this is important. You need to participate.
Yeah.
And
well, here's the flaw in the system right here.
Right. To then see a ballot. Okay, I've got 5 or 6 choices. These are some views. I would like to know where you stand on some of these things that are important to me, and I go to the first thing that every voter gets, and you're not there. Well, who is there? Well, at least this person
gave a fuck enough.
Gave a fuck, right?
Yep.
I do not want to vote for this person, but they at least did the bare minimum.
Yeah.
So why aren't you? And then it took me too long to find the stuff. Like the mobile orientation of the person's site was just like a picture and like a fucking model stage shot. Well, I don't care if you're pretty or handsome. I'm voting for you to do some shit.
Can you at least post a picture of yourself like petting an otter or something?
Just bend over and grab your ankles. Let's see the fucking brown eye. If we're going to start... wink at me. Aye, it's your panoche.
You got conjunctivitis?
Oh, shit. Passing out the pink eye, eh? Fucking all right.
Or is that brown eye?
Hey. So chocolate starfish? Okay.
That's nutty.
Oh, it's the breakfast jack of champions. It took me too long to find... Eventually I got to where... But I was so pissed that I felt like I wasn't objectively looking for views. Now I was like, well, who's going to give me the most amount of information that I have to labor to get? Yeah. Why is that a thing? Why am I struggling? Like, do you want to be elected? And if not, like,
or was it just a joke amongst you and your friends? Oh, he's running for whatever.
Like, the rent's too damn high.
Yeah,
and you fucking wear a blue tuxedo in your fucking candidate shot. Like, really?
Exactly,
dude. Really?
We ran into the same thing because I remember Shannon was like, "They're not in the book," and I was like, "Oh, I don't know."
Oh, okay. So
we ran into the same problem.
I was like,
"Yeah,
damn it." No.
If that's my one advice to someone running for office is get your shit in the state supplied booklet.
Yes.
Or
like I can
the county supplied booklet or whatever.
Perhaps a series of unfortunate events led to a late candidacy and you missed deadlines because
That could be.
Something fell through and now they just need a warm body and you're close enough, but you missed deadlines. I can't. Sure.
But make it easy for me to find some shit about you.
Right. But
at a minimum, get a URL.
It wasn't just one person. It was multiple candidates in a couple of these seats where it was like, well, clearly, not all of these things can be a special case scenario where, I missed it.
Right.
Like if you can't meet fucking deadlines.
Maybe that was all the doing of the opposition. They tied them to a chair and they couldn't get out to do the thing, and then the deadline passed. And now they're.
If I touch these 2 electrodes to your nipple testicles, will you make the deadline? I don't understand. You missed the deadline. Okay.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
It should be frustrating.
I know. Well,
it shouldn't be.
One of the things that my kids ran up against is, I think apparently they're both, the Chandler and Melanie are both registered as independent or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So they don't get a primary vote.
Right, we don't.
No?
We're.
Are you independent?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know if we're not I mean, I don't think we're unaffiliated. So we don't.
You register as unaffiliated.
Right.
Yeah.
So we don't have.
Yeah.
We didn't vote for Democratic.
Candidate
for president
or Republican.
But we got obviously we got the Senate.
Yeah.
And the 2.
Yeah.
Right.
I actually changed my party affiliation just to get a primary vote.
Oh, really?
I was like, I want to vote in the primary.
Right.
Yeah. So of course I register Republican.
Oh, of course.
Make America great. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I learned that in whenever the last primary was, 2020.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
I would have liked to have participated in that one.
I want to check a box for
Right.
the primary. I mean, it doesn't matter, but.
Right.
I wonder what the voter turnout is like on a primary. It's got to be low, I would think.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm sure there's ways to find out.
There will be stats.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. We talked about something like that. The California lottery site does post how much money went to schools.
Oh, do they?
That was like 4 or 5 weeks ago we were talking about that. It is actively posted, like how much money goes to schools.
So is it one of those things where this money goes to the schools from the lottery, and it was supposed to be more of like windfall money for the schools? So is it going to the schools in the sense that now it's just, this is just the money that comes in for the schools now, and then so the state's like, so we can really back off on our budgetary money.
Let's unbudget.
Yeah, we got all this money coming in for the schools from the lottery, and we can back off.
Mm-hmm.
And I only say that because my wife is a teacher's aide here at the local elementary and junior high level district.
Prison.
And so she is part of the union, and interestingly enough, she's become active in the union, which I think is really cool, actually.
Unions are the downfall of society.
Absolutely. But the real problem is like, from what I keep hearing or from what I keep hearing and seeing from the things that my wife tells me about anyway, who knows, maybe it's all BS.
It could be magic.
But that, they're constantly fighting for wage increases, and that typically they do, whoever runs a lot of the union stuff, they get like comps for tons of different jobs between their district and surrounding districts. And for whatever reason, even though this is one of the higher population centers in the area, the pay for them is lower than most of the districts around us.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the benefits aren't as good. It's crazy. So she has to go to meetings, and not just regular union meetings, but then also she
whoever the previous reps were slacking.
Well, that's what I used to tell her. Like, all this stuff is going on. Who is your union rep? Why aren't you talking to your union? This is what you pay dues for. They're
Right.
supposed to represent you.
Right.
And she was like, I don't know. And so it's like kind of cool to see her she's like, I think the school liaison now.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's representing. And so she went to a meeting like a week and a half or so ago, where she met with a bunch of people that wasn't like a real union meeting. It was just like a planning meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So she's having to do that kind of stuff, which go get it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like crazy to think like they have to fight tooth and nail for some of this stuff all the time. It's constant, you know? So it's kind of, unions definitely are a good thing.
Teachers deserve better. Everything.
Well, my understanding too is that the union that she's in is different from the teachers union. They have two separate unions.
Oh.
So there's a teachers union, and then there's a union for all the other folks, like the aides and the cafeteria workers and the
janitors.
Yes, all those people are, if they buy into the union,
service people versus teachers kind of thing. Like, is it separated at that level? Like an administrator versus staff? Maybe
it's that way because it's like teachers are like the educated folks. You know what I mean? Like,
you got skills.
We went to school for this shit, so we got our own union. Fuck all you guys. And maybe it helps to keep them separate for whatever reason. I don't know, or to help protect salary visibility or something. I don't know. I don't know what that reason is, and I didn't even know that until recently. So I don't understand how it all works, but it's kind of interesting to hear her talk about some of the stuff that she has to do or she deals with. But anyway, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Pay the people. You know?
Pay the, what I was going to say. Speak of what the fuck. Let's do car update. Want to do car?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So, Explorer is water pump.
Yeah.
It's still under warranty. $100.
Now this is a $100 deductible.
$100 deductible.
This is an extended warranty that your wife purchased with the vehicle.
Correct.
Okay, so that's cool.
Right. So, and the ultimate end bill is going to be looking like just a hair over $1,000.
So what's their shop rate? $200, like a 5-hour job?
I didn't see that on the thing, and the nice. Well, okay. So that's the update of what went wrong, which is better than head gasket.
Fuck off. Oh, I mean, what?
Wait.
Yeah, you're right. No, it totally is.
Oh, yeah. How's that internet working out for you? Fuck off. Okay. So there's that.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm actually impressed with, that the first time I saw it, I can't remember if I've talked about this. The first time I saw it was actually, I think, I took Mike to get their service on their Acura done, and you got like a video from the mechanics that was like, here are the things we checked, and I tested the whatevers, and as you can see here, so it was like it wasn't just like a write up and like someone verbally saying I inspected it and I saw
right.
And I just thought, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Her Venus's last time she took the Explorer in, she got like it was up. The Explorer was up on the lift, and they did like a video walk around, and like so we checked the calipers, the brake pads, the rotors. You see like an undercarriage inspection, so we checked for leaks, right? I'm like,
that's pretty cool.
I really, it was like probably a simple. It's probably tedious to the mechanics. I'm sure they would just rather be turning wrenches than holding smartphones or smart tablets and recording stuff.
Don't you think that sort of lends itself to making the repair jobs take longer? To a certain extent,
sure, and
I would think.
I'm sure those rates are all I'm
It's all
sure
part of it.
Yeah, it passes down. Like, well, because we now have to dot I's and cross T's because so many people think we might be bullshitting or
good
trying
one, Larry.
yeah,
Yeah.
that now we have to spend 5-10 minutes of each job documenting in video, and then we've got to train the text to use the devices and to make sure they're doing the recording. Oops, and just some fat-fingered grease monkey doesn't understand that recording a picture is not recording a video. Like, so I get it.
Yeah.
But it was, and I'm sure there are positives, like I said, from their service. Like fighting someone that not fighting like to when someone wants to dispute in disputes, like this wasn't this way when it came in,
Right.
like now they're like
There's proof now.
now there's
Yeah.
proof. So this was handy to see when she had done this with, I'm like, oh, well, that's fucking handy. Like, oh, your air filter needs to be replaced. Well, does it? And when you see a picture of like how, like, oh, well, fucking now I feel like
Yeah.
an ass that it was that dirty. Or we tested your battery and your battery didn't pass this performance test. And you're like, well, what did you use? And like, what's the validity of the test? Could you, and instead of just seeing that in words or in a text or in a phone call, maybe, I don't know. There is a picture and a video of a battery test with its like manufacturer, and it's hooked up to the battery,
Yeah.
and you see the actual test running and its output, and you're like, well, I can cross check all of that stuff. What is the industry standard for testing battery and reliability of such? And look up the device, and you're like, it's legit. So if he's telling me it doesn't pass these things, like.
I mean, it's almost the equivalent of like police wearing vests,
Body cameras.
Body cameras. Yeah.
They're a really good piece of mind from my perspective.
Yeah.
And I'm a loose termed shade tree mechanic, so I can appreciate the documentation and the above and beyond of like, here we saw this. This is. So. They had pictures from her undercarriage of like the coolant, not her, of the Explorer's undercarriage, with drips. And I'm gonna be, I felt bad because it was plain as day that there were coolant drips,
And you never saw them.
Never saw it. Like, now it's been raining. And I don't see where she parks at work, but the amount of coolant that went missing was to such a volume that I should have seen it.
Sure.
What I didn't do was simply get on my ass and look underneath the car.
Yeah.
If I would have, I would have
Seen it. Yeah.
And so I kind of like, I almost want to, like, whenever we get it or, go to pick it up, I would love to just be like, hey, man.
Sorry.
I know when we turn this in, I wrote part of the thing that was like, here's what we see, here's what I know. Like, thinking I was like Johnny on the spot as far as like, I'm pointing you directly at the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'd have just looked underneath the car, I find it hard to believe I would have missed the drips that they simply just went and pointed a camera at.
Well, they had a lift too, so that makes it way easier.
But it's not a fucking mini truck. It's not slammed. It wouldn't have taken much.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I almost feel like, hey man, I'm not an idiot. I assure you, if I would have seen you almost got it. If I would have seen it, I would have said, I also see drips on the bottom of the oil pan that are clearly orange. Also, orange coolant is super obvious to see.
Sure.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
So that's the Explorer. I don't have an ETA on pickup, but it will be roughly 1,000 under warranty, deductible 100, water pump.
I wish I had a deductible.
Yeah.
I got a call from my mechanic today
Yeah.
from a place in Sac called Subi West. So he said he got the heads back from the machine shop, which was the sort of long, you never know how long it's going to take from the machine shop.
Right.
That's sort of the long question on the whole job.
So they probably just decked it just to make sure it was
They cleaned them up and
surface?
Yeah, cleaned them up, resurfaced the bottom of the head, and then also pressure tested all the valves and made sure.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
Yeah, that makes me feel good.
Checks out.
Yeah. Also, he straight edged the top. I don't know what you call it on a boxer engine, but the top of the cylinder.
Okay.
He straight edged it to check to see that they were warped and they were fine.
Cool.
So that makes me happy because that tells me I don't have to buy a new motor.
Right.
So he was saying, hey, I'm ready to put this back together, but we need to talk about your timing belt situation. And we had already had a conversation previously where he was like, we'll check out the timing belt. And I said, well, when we bought it in, I think it was middle of 2020.
Boy, like just into COVID, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
The guy had put a brand new timing belt on it. So in theory, it should be good for a while.
Right.
Right. And he says, all right, well, we'll check it out. Okay, cool. So I got a voicemail from him, and I was talking to my wife, and I said, he says in the voicemail that we probably need to talk about the timing belt thing. And then, so we're having hypothetical conversation with each other. And she's like, well, wasn't there a new timing? I mean, it has a new, they said it had a new timing belt.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, they did. But who knows? Maybe they were shit parts. Maybe something's leaking. Maybe something broke. Maybe there's a tensioner that's bad.
Right.
Who knows?
Right.
So I call the guy actually calls me. He proactively calls me, which I am not used to.
Right.
John's Auto Care.
Hashtag JetBlue.
And I'm like, oh, okay. So he's like, yeah, it looks like the water pump is leaking. And I'm like, okay. And he says, we have a bad tensioner. And I'm like, okay.
Okay.
I'm like, can we just replace those two? He goes, well, we could, but for an extra $70, you can get the whole kit.
Oh.
And I'm like, that's a no-brainer.
Right.
Like, yeah, let's do it. So, I mean, that's a belt, all the tensioner, whatever tensioners there are, pulleys,
guides,
water pump.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Sure.
Whatever they replace in a kit, just yes.
Right.
So we're talking about it, and I'm like, well, how much more is that going to be? You know, oh, well, it's $5 something for the kit. There's no labor because it's already a part.
Right. Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. Well, okay. Which brings my total up to $3,800. And I'm just like, fuck.
Lovely.
So, but you know, it's going to have new head gaskets, resurfaced head. The valves have been checked.
Right.
New water pump, new timing belt, new timing bits and pieces, all new hoses, new belts, new radiator. I mean, fuck. It can't get much better.
Did you just for shits and giggles look up like crate motor? Just as like boxer crate motor,
no,
just to see where it would have fallen?
I think they're more expensive.
Is it?
Because well, I don't know what crate motors are.
No, I mean, you know, like a brand new Subaru 2.9 liter boxer, like.
Well, the only reason why I say no is because he was showing me jobs that he had done that were also head gasket jobs in his shop when I was talking to him. He was showing me printouts of jobs from other cars that were similar. And one of them was like $6,500 for the whole repair. And I was like, fuck, please don't let it be $6,500.
Right.
And those were situations where they came in for a head gasket, and when they checked the block out, the block was so far out that they couldn't reuse the block, which required an engine.
Oh, okay. All right.
So $6,500
is probably closer to new engine territory.
I think so.
Okay.
So quite a bit more. And, you know, we've said it before on the show, probably $3,800. I mean, it's a lot of money, and I'm not too thrilled about spending that.
Right. But you're not going to get a new Subaru for $3,800.
Exactly. So it's and it'll be good. I won't have to worry about it. You know what I mean?
This like probably also proactively fixes the heater issue.
Maybe. I don't know. The core might still need to be flushed, but
Wow.
you know,
Hey,
I mean, I'm surprisingly okay with it because I kind of knew. I felt like almost from day one, I felt like this. I knew this was going to happen. You know,
this is
so
such
that's where we're at.
a polar experience from the Cadillac.
Yeah, where it's just months of who knows what. No one knows what's going on.
Well, I can understand that the problems aren't the same, and when you're chasing electrical gremlins or not, it's.
I still don't fully have an answer on what I think is the issue.
Is it still doing it?
No.
Oh, it's just that they replaced so many things that you don't 100% know what was the actual cat.
Well, they had the head off, right?
Right.
And they claimed that there was a carbon issue.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't make any sense to me. And I've talked to a few people who are mechanical people
Mm-hmm.
where I'm like, okay, if it was a carbon related issue and a hunk of carbon was preventing a valve from closing all the way,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
If I turn the car off and let it sit for a couple hours and then come back and it starts right up and runs smooth as shit, where previously it was missing and it ran terrible and all the lights were blinging.
Mm-hmm.
What? How? Where'd
the carbon go?
Yeah, what changed? So I don't fully understand that. It
still
kind
lingers.
of the question lingers exactly.
Mm.
So, but from a service standpoint, it is a little bit night and day from the Cadillac, and I think most of that was when I had problems on the Cadillac that were easy jobs or fixes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They were fine. Their communication with me was fine.
Mm-hmm.
But when it was the long pull of we're not sure,
Mm-hmm.
That's where the communication really was lacking.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't have anything to tell me or didn't know what to tell me.
So you've mentioned the Subi West guy.
Yeah.
You mentioned that he showed you previous jobs.
Yeah.
Was that something he offered to you,
Yeah.
or did you ask to see?
He offered.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's like when you're trying to build customer confidence.
Yep.
And you're just openly forward with, this is what people are going to be paying.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you're going to be potentially looking at. Also, I have done these.
Right.
Like, these are examples of
Absolutely.
of jobs that I have completed. And you're offering that up front.
Yeah.
Not like, yeah, we can do head gaskets.
Right.
What's it going to run you? Or run me? Well, could be between 2 and 7.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I had that.
like, how often does that happen?
This is a conversation I had with a shop in Rockland.
Yeah.
I called them up and I'm like, hey, I'm just looking to get a ballpark for a head gasket replacement.
Mm-hmm.
2009 and they were a Subi shop in Rockland.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy was like, well, like talking like, oh, here's a guy that doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't fucking know shit. What is he? You think he knows more than me?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a thing. And then he's very combative with me on the phone. And you think I decided to take it there?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck no. I called the next shop on my list because I'm not going to that motherfucker.
Right.
Don't talk to me like I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Right. And then he would give me something and I'd be like, oh no, it blah, 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 blah. He's like, oh. And by the time we were done with the conversation, he understood that I needed fucking head gaskets.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it wasn't like, don't think I'm just a fucking idiot.
Right.
So
yeah.
When you treat your customer right out of the gate like they're a fucking idiot, then you're not going to get the job.
Anyone that's calling a shop and that may specialize in or is starting the conversation with head gasket,
mm-hmm.
like that consumer is probably already grabbing their wallet with hate and frustration.
That's right.
Because at this point,
much hate.
It doesn't take much to like Ford head gasket price, Subaru head
Right.
gasket price, Hyundai Subaru head gasket price, and you're gonna get
Yeah.
a Reddit response or a Googled like scrubbed and like an AI response at a rough ballpark. So someone that's calling a shop is already apprehensive, defensive, and probably doesn't have that kind of ready available cash to go or to be treated as if they're the fucking idiot.
Right.
Like, listen, I'm already calling you because it's out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And I'm calling you because I probably have a need.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the conversation would have been completely different. If I didn't know what I was getting myself into, I would have called and said, "Hey, I'm just looking to have you guys check out my car. Are you available? I got this going on and I'm not sure what it is."
sure.
But I know what the fuck the problem is. I knew exactly what the fuck the problem was. If you just took the time to listen to what I had to say instead of being defensive and telling me I'm an idiot,
Right.
then
About
you would have understood that.
Or
Well,
to be
and his-
or to tap dance around price. Like,
Yeah.
listen,
And he was very large swath of like, well, it could be this much, it could be, and that's fine because he's right. It could have been that
Sure.
thing, right?
Sure.
There's another place I called up in Auburn. I don't remember what their name was, M45 or something like that, or M something like that. But they're a Subaru only shop, and they have their own in-house machine shop as well, which I was like, that's cool.
Hot.
But their pricing seemed to be a little higher than, he was like, oh, it's probably going to be $4,500 or something. I was like, ugh.
Shit.
And then Shanna actually called the
Oh, you missed it. That was odd.
fucker. Shanna actually was like, you should call this Subi West guy. And I was like, okay, a little further
Whatever,
away.
wife.
Yeah, whatever. So, and he was very happy to talk to me. I think he's new,
Mhm.
right? He's trying to build customer base. He's, he's looking for that.
Right.
He's only a 2-lift shop, and he's got a big shop. So he's got tons of, he could have probably 5 lifts in there if he really wanted to.
Mm.
So he's got all this room to grow in there.
Mm-hmm.
And when I talked to him, he knew his shit. And I was like, And then he was like, yeah, I was like mechanic at the Auto West Subaru for 14 years or whatever. And I was like, perfect.
Mm.
That's what I want, that guy.
Right.
So, I think when you have a situation like that, he's willing to cut down pricing typically, or be a little bit cheaper to get the job.
Right.
But I don't feel like I'm sacrificing on the, hopefully, sacrificing on any of the workmanship quality,
Yeah.
That's kind of where I kind of land in there.
Mm-hmm.
Was like, he knows what he's doing. He understands.
Yeah.
He's probably rebuilt, 200 of these or more
Mm-hmm.
in his time.
Hashtag Subaru head gasket.
Yeah. It's a big job. The motor comes out.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually, it's fascinating because at one point I looked it up. Well, what does it take to do a Subaru head gasket? Because the way the heads are buried in the side of the fenders,
Mm-hmm.
just getting the valve covers off is not that easy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a place called 1A Auto, and they do repair, but also they sell parts.
Mm-hmm.
And I've bought parts from them in the past. But they do repair videos. They have a shitload. They have a YouTube channel
Mm-hmm.
where they show people, buy our parts and here's how you install them. Free videos on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
The woman mechanic they have that does some of these videos, that chick knows her shit, and she single-handedly pulled a boxer motor out of a Forester
Mm-hmm.
and rebuilt it for a head gasket and put it all back together herself.
Is it a subframe dropout or is it come out the top?
I think it dropped, if I remember correctly, I believe it dropped out the bottom.
Does it?
I think so. Or did she pull it out the top? I don't remember.
Mm.
It was a while. It was a few months ago.
Mm.
But when I saw that video, I went, "Oh God, that's man."
Mm.
And she went through every single thing that you should do when you do a head gasket job, and I was like, "Oh man, she knows what she's.
Yeah.
She knows her shit." And that is not a job that I would have been able to undertake.
Right.
I just don't. No.
No.
If it wasn't like a daily driver car, maybe.
Right.
But it's a daily driver car that needs to work and not be like, oh, I got,
Dad,
I got to fiddle
I
with
hear
this
her
now.
clunking now.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck.
It's a car where my daughter will have it 600 miles away, so it needs to operate.
Mm.
So, let's let a professional do it.
Sure. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's a big deal. That's a big job.
We were grocery store? I can't remember. We were doing an errand over the weekend when it wasn't raining.
That was rare.
Getting ready to get in the car, and the neighbor lady across the street, she's also out. Her garage door is open, and she's like jawing at me, like trying to get our attention.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, "Well, hi, what's up?" And she's like, "Do you need a lawnmower?" Like, what are you trying to?
Are you trying to tell me something?
What are you trying to say about my lawn? I'm like, lawnmower? She's like, because she had just done like a hardscape kind of thing. So she had her lawn. She used to have a big tree in years like pre-COVID, maybe a year or two pre-COVID. She had her tree like stumped because it was starting to do shit to the sidewalk, foundation, garage, whatever.
Yeah.
So that was taken out, and then obviously the heat in those couple years was just atrocious. We've talked at length about that. Mm-hmm. So her grass, and her kids are gone, so her grass was like dying and spotty, like mine and Bob. She doesn't Bob Ross hers. So she used to...
Happy little grass.
Right. It's just happy grass. Right on there. All right. Happy grass. Needs a little friend right there.
Needs a little
right next to the pond. Just a little. Just keep on spraying. All right. She would mow to keep the weeds down and grass that there was. But last year she had like bark and like spotty, like deserty, like drip. Landscaping.
Okay.
So drip only landscaping. Lots of bark. So she obviously hasn't been using her mower. So she's like, "Do you need a mower?" Because I have Bob Ross grass, but obviously it looks like grass that would need to be mowed. And I don't have a mower. I have the push
blade circular.
The blade thing because I kill mowers. Because I don't...
Because they sit outside.
Right, they sit outside.
Not Toro.
But in the moment... you're right, no, Toro. Toro, the Troy Belt, and the Honda.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Terrible.
You went through that many mowers?
It may have been 4 or 5.
Oh, my gosh.
It's terrible. I am terrible. I admit it. So... But in the moment, I'm like, okay, sure, because she was just drinking, and it's one less thing she would have to worry about. But I was like, sure. And she went into the garage. She's like, I don't know if it runs.
Haven't used it in a while.
I haven't ever changed. She's like, I'm not mechanically inclined.
Yeah.
She had opened her cabinet, and she had motor oil or engine oil, and I went, okay, all right. So she's like, I think there's grass still in the bag.
Oh, geez.
And I went, okay, don't worry about it. So I just wheeled it over here. I wheeled it into the garage, and then it got into the car, and I went, I got a fucking free mower. And then we went and did our errand.
Nice.
We're making jokes. But obviously, I'm in a place where I can't work on Mima because it's
broke.
It's broke, and it's been raining, and it's not conducive, and it's going to take money to get parts and all that stuff. The Explorer, I think, at the time may not have been here, it wasn't something I was going to fix. it's been raining, so like trying to do yard work or like just do things with my hands, I'm like just kind of stir crazy-ish. Well, I came into the garage, I'm like looking at the mower, I'm like, well,
I can do that.
I can do this.
Yeah.
I completely disassembled this fucking mower.
Really? Did you not try to see if it ran or anything?
I did not.
Oh, really? You just started unscrewing shit?
I just unscrewed, disassembled, cleaned everything.
Yeah.
Spark plug looked fucking brand new for the most part. The oil was pretty clean.
Yeah.
I completely shampooed the bag.
Oh, wow.
Like VRP'd the fucking
all
like
the
plastic
plastics.
on the thing. I had the mower completely engine disassembled.
Wow.
Cleaned, degreased, everything.
Wow.
Put it back together. $18. For the most part, it looked like I didn't buy a new air filter. Clean the carb. It's a plastic carb.
Oh, weird. What brand is it?
Troy built. It's a
Okay.
Briggs and Stratton motor.
Okay.
So I was like, oh shit, this is. I killed the last mowers I killed. All had
Metal carburetor, yeah.
carburetors, and the rototiller that I've got in the back is a metal carburetor. I'm like, oh, so plastic. That's interesting. All right.
That feels cheaper.
Yeah. Sweet. Cleaned it, put it all back together. The blade had rock dings on it, so for I think the only cost output, I spent $18. I got a brand new blade.
Oh.
And you saw me, or I don't know if you did, on the stool I had like files. I sharpened the shit out of the blade,
Oh, yeah.
put the new blade on it, fresh gas, emptied it, put fresh gas in it, and that was Monday? I think I had it all, like, between Sunday evening and Monday, started. And I'm like, sweet, that's the engine. And I fucking fixed it.
Get my grass going.
And it looks fucking, it's all when the lights are on.
Oh, is that it right here?
It looks brand fucking new.
Yeah.
I like ceramic.
Oh, wow.
sealed
Look at you.
The deck, so that way grass is, I mean, it looks brand new.
Yeah.
Some of the stickers had like started to peel once I touched it.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I'll
Whatever.
leave that. But it, all the plastic I polished, rejuvenated.
Now, are you going to leave it in the garage, or are you going to set it out in the back?
Well, see, now I have, I have the canopy. So
Oh.
it would fit
Yeah,
under the canopy.
sure.
I don't necessarily want to keep it in the garage because, I would like that space reclaimed. But there's no reason for it to be outside because I can put it under the canopy.
Do you think Rob Ross would be proud?
He may be frustrated. Who's going to buy my paint? All right. Well, it
Nice.
does look like a nice shiny red.
Now, I started running into problems with the Toro as far as the...
What?
Well, it's not mechanical.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's the part that, like, the bag is attached to, the plastic
Yeah.
front shield or whatever that goes to the intake.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some cracking on the handle.
Oh.
I don't know. I doubt I could probably replace it at this point. The
So
thing's
it's
20.
It's a flap on the mower or a thing on the mower?
It's the plastic cover on the bag.
Oh.
So the thing that opens up and you can pour the grass out and then it closes and then it goes back on the mower.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
clips onto the hole where the
Yeah.
mower ejects it into the bag. That plastic part is starting to... It's got a big crack in it.
Oh.
I mean, that
You need a plastic welder.
It's still... Yeah, maybe I could just super glue it or something. I don't know.
Fiberglass that shit. I have a plastic welder.
I mean, that's a silly thing to replace a mower for. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's way silly.
It does need all new wheels. The wheels have been worn down. They're literally smooth because just from like,
yeah.
like having them, like moving the mower around on the cement or whatever.
Yeah.
They're all smooth. All the texture
Yeah.
part of the wheel is gone.
I think they're like readily available. You just
Those
less than
are-
$20 for 4.
Yeah, I'm sure I could get all those, but I don't know about the bin, the plastic part on the grass bin.
Oh, yeah.
That's the long.
What kind of mower did your son end up getting?
Oh,
Is it used?
No,
did he buy
it was new. Green? No, not Greenworks. It was
Was it battery?
yeah, it's
Is
electric.
it?
Mhm.
Is it? Ah,
Yeah.
fuck that kid.
I don't
Oh.
remember what brand it was.
Is he happy with it? Has he mentioned?
Seems to be.
He'd be the only first degree person I know with a EV lawnmower.
My neighbor across the street that has the really nice yard that's always very well kept.
Yeah.
He has recently bought a year and a half or so ago. He bought a DeWalt mower,
Yeah.
and I keep asking him, and he does a really nice job on his yard.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, hey, how are you liking your electric mower? And he's like, oh, it doesn't have the same power as my gas mower,
Okay.
but it works. And he's got a corner lot, so he's got quite a bit of grass.
Mm-hmm.
And so he mows all that, and then he has an okay amount in the backyard
Mm-hmm.
that he also is mowing. So I don't think he has any problems with it, like not being
Was
able to fully
The Walt
finish.
one run on those like the 60 volt battery.
No idea.
Hmm.
No
I've thought
idea.
about getting the battery powered weed eater. I haven't killed mine yet, so that's why.
Yeah, I've got all extension cord weed eaters and blowers and stuff.
Yeah.
And so it would be a whole thing for me to replace all that stuff with batteries and things. And I have a leaf. The one of the main things I use all the time is my leaf vac.
Mm-hmm.
And I use that thing to the degree that probably I would need 2 or 3 batteries in order to do what I do. I mean, I'm filling anywhere from 2 to 6 or 7 bags of leaves off of that thing at a time. So I don't know if I could move to battery without spending a lot of money on batteries.
Oh yeah.
You know what
Sure.
I mean?
Sure.
That's kind of the big challenge for me, because there's so many trees, and the way our house is oriented, the leaves blow down the street and they end up in my yard from other areas of the neighborhood.
So inconsiderate. Fucking.
I'm like, I'm sucking up leaves. I'm like, I don't even have this kind of tree on my property anywhere near here. Where is it coming from?
You guys are assholes.
Yeah. I mean, just literally, it was just well, I felt like 2 weeks ago, I did 3 bags with the leaf sucker, like of carrying the bag, and you suck it up and it grinds them, and I'm filling it till it can't take any more leaves and then dumping it. And that takes up a lot of time, just sitting there sucking leaves, and then it gets clogged, and you got to they all fall out, and then you got to resuck them up again. So there's a lot of that. So many leaves on my property all the time, and it's not like I don't live on a fucking quarter acre or third of an acre or half an acre or a fucking acre. It's a tiny postage stamp piece of property in Roseville. You know what I mean?
And it collects leaves.
Yeah, there's always fucking leaves out there. It's really irritating and frustrating, but it would take a lot, I think. It would be one of those things where it'd be like, suck up the leaves, the battery would die, and I'd be like a third of the way done or something.
Like, now I got to walk in,
rotate
the battery, which would probably be like $120 for a battery of that size.
Yeah.
And you need 2
at
easily.
A
minimum.
Yeah. Probably 2 extra, so 3 batteries total.
And if you didn't finish, now you're like, well, now I got to come back out here tomorrow to finish the last quarter of leaf sucka mulcha.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, the reason why I'm out there at the moment is because I have the time to do it. So the easiest thing for me to do is drag a 100-foot extension cord around the property to suck up leaves all over the place.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I could move to battery.
That makes sense.
Maybe for the mower. I could probably do it on the mower, just because it's specifically mowing.
Right.
But if you're talking about cleanup for leaves, man, I don't think it would work.
Edger? What do you have for an edger?
I have a trimmer edger, and then I also have one of it's a Black & Decker with a blade thing that will
do the skimming against the sidewalk.
Yeah. But I use the trimmer more often than the thing, because it cuts a lot of dirt and makes a big mess all the time. So that's just extra cleanup to do. But I use them both. But the trimmer gets used more than the main, and then I have I think I have two trimmers and the edger, and then I actually have 2 sucker leaf blowers. It's a combo. It sucks and blows. It's
as it should.
The best kind of mechanical thing you can have. Sucks and blows.
Thing that takes power.
Yeah, but I have 2 of them because one of them, it stopped working with the sucker part, the leaf sucker.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't contact there's like a little pin that goes into the body that allows it to turn on.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing stopped connecting because when I'm sweeping across the yard, like I'll drag it and it'll wear.
Oh, okay.
And so I use that as a blower, and then I use the other one as the sucker. So I have 2 of those just because it's easier just to swap the extension cord from one over to the other rather than swapping the whole thing out for a blower / sucker, whatever you're doing. But man, the whole battery thing, that's a tough one to for as much leaves as I go. I mean, I go through months where I literally all I'm putting in the garbage can every week is leaves to the point to where the lid won't close all the time. It's crazy. And you have a big yard here with trees that drop lots of leaves. I don't feel like you have nearly as many as I have.
That's because I leave them on the ground.
they just turn to dirt.
But I mean, the last couple of years, I have 2 green waste cans. So
that's true.
You're just missing because I'll do 2 cans of things if I'm active in the yard. I knock out 2
that's true
whole cans at a shot, and so it looks a little bit bigger. But I'm also so good at moving rocks around that I also am really good at moving leaf piles around so that they're not eyesores.
Well, the can
until I get both cans full.
I mean, honestly, the single can limitation is my limitation. It's not.
Yeah.
If it were a battery operated thing, it would be the batteries.
Sure.
But because it's extension cord, I fill the can and then I just don't have any place to put anything anymore. So I got to be done. And sometimes I'm not done.
Right.
It's like, I'll get that next weekend or after the green can gets picked up or whatever in 2 weeks. And I've had that happen. The can gets picked up on Tuesday and I've been out there like on a Wednesday sucking leaves and I'll fill it like almost completely full. And then it's like for 2 weeks.
Right.
You have nowhere to put it. Well, I can't do any yard work.
Yeah.
Darn it.
Well, this is done. Shit.
Yeah. And over time, it'll compact in there. So you'll get a little extra room because the air will, I don't know.
Yeah. Or you take a...
I have done that.
I just need one more bag of room, you dirty bitch.
I want to say we had Chandler getting in at several occasions to like stomp it down.
It?
Yeah. Let's get some more room.
Fucker.
Yeah.
I packed one so tight that it like only emptied halfway.
And you had to call him and be like, it's not empty.
No, it wasn't until I like wheeled it back up. Why is this thing so heavy? And I'm like, look in it, and it was still half. And I went,
oh, there's a dead body in here.
Yeah, who put this child in here?
Oh, shit.
God damn it. Allegedly.
It's compostable.
It had it coming.
Seen and not heard, kid.
Yeah. That's what you get for throwing rocks at the truck, you little shits. I started, little shits. I started the project. I upgraded my nest to the 2020 nest.
Damn.
That is Matter compatible.
Matter?
Right. So it'll do all the home automation connectivity stuff. So where there are 2.
I don't know. I haven't heard of that because I don't use a Nest.
Right. So the Google Nest they have 2 thermostats. One is because we had like the first gen, and it was this like it was like a hockey puck style, but it was tactile and the whole thing it was nice user experience as far as like tick, 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 tick.
Very tactile.
Yes,
yeah.
You could feel like all the things clockworky.
Yeah, which is probably where they spent all their money.
Right. But it wasn't compatible with HomeKit,
Okay.
Home Bridge.
Well, first of all,
the lady or the other lady.
the time that you bought it, none of that was a thing.
Right. It was good at
Yeah.
learning, temperature swings and scheduling.
Yeah.
But it had no integration capabilities with all of the home automation stuff that has happened in the last 5 to 6 years. So, and so they have two versions. One that they did a product, not refresh. So they did one that was like mine, but a new version. I don't know if it's just got more horsepower.
Isn't there kind of a light one and then like a bad boy one?
And then there was the 2021 that they came out. That's more. It's cheaper.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't look like my first gen one, but that's the one that has all of the home automation compatibility.
Yeah.
Their more expensive one is not, and it's current, but it is not home automation compliant outside Google's thing. So,
then what makes it more expensive?
I have no idea. But I'm like, well,
just
why?
Because they can.
Why would I bother? Because it looks like this one. Well, I don't care.
Yeah.
So when we were talking about over the summer about doing the trigger with various home automation to trigger misters that would go on around the condenser unit outside, we but I have this one and it's not compatible. So I bought the cheap one.
Uh-huh.
That is a Nest replacement for all the features that I was using anyway.
Yeah.
But it has all the home automation stuff. So I added it to the Apple lady. I added it to the Amazon lady. Don't say shit. The Amazon lady. And what else did Apple,
Google,
and it'll do. It's
Google
already,
Home.
but I don't do Google Home. Well, yes, Google Home will do its own set of automation processes.
Yeah.
So I can tell the Amazon lady to turn the thermostat to X, Y, or Z. I can tell the Apple lady to turn the thermostat to X, Y, Z. And if for whatever reason I need to use a Matter completely Homebridge and agnostic to all of the big tech guys,
Yeah.
it'll work with that. So now I'm...
Plus they have their own app, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So now the next thing is to get a Matter, I think the Beehive compliant Wi-Fi faucet trigger.
Oh, yeah.
And that will...
so you're trying to go
I'm
there.
going to do it, but now
Yeah.
the thermostat was the first part in making that happen.
Sure.
At one, I think it was $120
That's not bad.
is the, and it gives me all kinds of extra functionality. I would like to have that project done. I would like to do that because I see
value in it.
I see we saw net positive stuff in cleaning it, keep getting the air cool.
Sure.
And if I can program it so that if one thing happens automatically because of temperature and that triggers this thing and it's hands off, that's win for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
plus it's all nice and new and shiny and whatnot.
Man, some of that home automation stuff, I'm still, every time I use my Rat GDO to open and close the garage door,
Yeah.
it just blows my mind. Every day I take the dog out for a walk. I open the garage door. We walk out onto the driveway and I say to my watch, "Hey, clown ass, close the garage door," and it just goes down.
Yeah.
And then we go on our walk, and then as I'm walking back, I just to the watch, "Hey, clown ass, open the door,"
Right.
and the door just fucking opens.
Right.
I mean, it's just so convenient.
The door, the front door unlocking with my watch is we talked about this years ago. The the unlock screen on the iMac that happens just when in proximity of having the watch is I didn't know that was such a convenience until you run into it. Us as a family all coming in and out of the front door by essentially tap to paying the front door lock
Yeah.
is
Brilliant.
it is just so fucking convenient.
Yeah.
Like no one's fumbling for keys. No one. Oh, I forgot a key.
Or if you need to let somebody else in the house, you can set them up with a temporary thing. They can
I get a
in.
notification, so
Yeah.
my kids can't fucking try and hide or come in late. There's a timestamp, bitches.
And
There are logs.
the thing that we really like is like the automatic lock.
Yes.
It just fucking 4 minutes lock. You know, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no puppies are getting out the front door anymore, but
Yeah.
yes, it's super convenient.
Yeah.
Anyway,
make that happen, people.
you should.
It's convenient.
It's super handy.
I have started to replace my Wemo light switches, but I bought some new ones. Whatever kind Chandler has, I don't remember what they're called. I bought a couple.
Ulanzi?
No, but they're just in the box, like on my counter right now, and mainly because I haven't figured out which ones I'm going to replace. But the Wemos have been. They're just so much of a pain in the ass because they just go offline and their fucking bridge thing doesn't work. That just pisses me off. Like, fuck that.
Oh, yeah.
And they offer new ones that don't require the bridge. And I'm like, no, I'm not giving you any more money. I bought shit from you and it doesn't fucking work.
The Hues in the office that were like, I wasn't using because it needed a bridge and they were old as shit anyway. I replaced with Govies like last week. All of which are now roped into the Amazon lady.
Yeah.
So now I don't even touch the light switch anymore. I just say, lady, turn off the office light. I mean, it's so ridiculously... I could just hit the power switch.
Sure.
But to be like, I don't want to... Well, Venus and I are in bed, and I left the office lights on, and it's like, someone has to get out of bed to go turn off the office light. No. Amazon lady.
Yeah.
Turn off the office lights.
Well, do you find, because I know we're probably going to run long here.
Yeah.
Do you find value in having a lot of these devices in the house where when you come home, the house knows that you're coming home because of proximity and sets up lighting in a specific manner and maybe turns on your TV? Stuff like that. Is there value in that kind of stuff for you?
I don't use it because I'm home all the time. So
that's true.
If I was in a place, if Venus and I, because since we don't have pets anymore, if Venus and I were both, and the kids were at school, Venus and I both had jobs that took us away from the home, I would certainly be proactive in setting that stuff up because I would be energy conscious.
Yeah.
It would be convenient to be like, I don't have the mine tied. I'm not using RatGDO or anything.
Right.
So we don't have proximity geofencing for anything inside the house. Like when we leave or come back. Most of that is because I haven't had a need because I'm here all the time. That may change. Who the fuck knows?
Right.
But I would set that like we're both working in an office, not in the house. Setting a thermostat to kick in.
I see where we're headed here, but the reason why I ask is I see a video from a guy who's like, "Oh, I set all my stuff up so that when we're watching TV, and somehow it's automatic. I don't even understand how he's done it. I have to watch the video again.
Okay.
When we're watching TV, certain lights are on in the house, right? Maybe this light in the kitchen, but it's darker over here or whatever, or the lights are just dimmed down enough.
Yeah.
But then if they got people over, there's a different setting, so you got lights a little bit higher, and these other lights are also on because people are there.
Okay.
And, or if we're eating dinner, like these lights are not on, but these are on. He's got like this whole like scene thing set up where, based on what you're doing at the moment, you can say set up take this scene or whatever. And then the lights are set up for this, or when they're watching a football game, it's set up this way. Like he had specific ways that he had things set up, which I thought was crazy because it's all through some kind of home automation something. I don't even know if it's all through, I don't even think it was HomeKit. I have no idea.
Well, most of with Amazon's, we did loose stuff with the cabinet lights once they were roped into the Amazon lady. Like, like a specific scene, or certain ones will light up for, I just need something in the morning. I don't need to be blinded because I'm not awake yet.
Yeah.
Like Venus will do that, like nightlight, sort of.
Yeah.
And you can name them and then use the name when you're calling the lady, and it's smart enough to recognize linguistics. Calling the lady.
Does she have her red light out?
I can't see it. If I can. Maybe. I mean, that's a little bit like over the top.
It was really cool what he had set up, but I was like, I don't know. But like one of the things that like irks the shit out of me is like we have ceiling fans in the house, and we have controllers. So this is old school. I mean, we're talking like at least 20 years old, easily. Where there's a thing where the normal switch would be, but then up in the canopy of the ceiling fan, there's a little radio receiver controller box. Now there's only one pair of wires that go between the switch and the ceiling fan, and typically you would have two sets, one for the lights and one for the fan.
Right.
Well, we only have one set of wires, so it's only, you would have to pull chain shit. So this eliminates all that because it takes power and distributes it how it needs to for the lights and for But like, if I wanted to make that smart, there's no way to do it. I would literally have to buy a brand new ceiling fan.
Sure.
And that's, to me, is very wasteful. Unless it fucking breaks, or something.
Right.
But that means that also we don't have like a remote. We have to, if we want to control it, we have to get up and touch a thing on the wall. I mean, that's so hard, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like,
struggles.
If your ambition is to make a smart home or to automate some of this stuff, that's not a easy thing to do. That it's or what it. Not that it's not easy. It's just not cost. It's cost prohibitive.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some aspects of like the home automation thing, it's like, oh, I can do this and this and this. Cool. But like, what about these other things? And like, there's no easy solution for those that are cost effective.
Right.
And that's what I find frustrating about it. You just have to like be willing to spend a bunch of money.
Right.
I mean, you just had to replace a nest that was working.
Right. In order to get
with a new thing, in order to get some stuff that didn't exist back then. So there's a bunch of that. And I'm replacing light switches that were supposed to work that don't. You know what I mean?
Light switches are expensive too.
Yeah, I think the set was like $27 or something for a pair. It's not terrible, but
Lutron stuff was like, I almost paid for 2 switches because Piper didn't have a fan speed and a toggle switch.
Yeah.
It was
so she probably had
$40.
Single pole.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same problem I have in my.
I just spent like $50 on fucking switches.
Yeah.
Because you needed a fan.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck happened here?
Yeah.
That's not even covering the cost of the fan.
Well, when the house was being built, we're like, well, we want fan mounts in all the bedrooms. Well, they didn't say anything about, well, what do you want to do for the wiring? Do you want dual pole, single pole? I mean, if they would have explained it to us, we would have said, oh, yeah, we'll add the extra wiring.
Well, my wife needs the big pole. So.
Yeah. You guys install the brass pole?
Yeah. How many poles? I mean, poles for holes? I'm just one man.
So if there would have been, if we would have known that was like a thing, we probably would have done something different while the house was being built and not had to worry about it later.
Right. But you were like, I just really am looking to hump.
and also live in a house
Right.
and not be in an apartment.
Yeah, the cardboard box is soft.
Especially when it's raining.
Yeah, it's not good.
Anyway,
we're
way out of time.
Oh wait.
Oh man, we're gonna run out of storage space. All right.
You should return the cart.
You should wash your hands.
Wash your ass.
Check your oil, Tony.
Register to vote.
Make the call if you need it, please.
Stay up to date on your shots.
And do the kindness.
Pick up a broom.
That's one too.
We'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye.